Hey everyone, it's Matt from Akuma Mods. So today we're going to be working on the Hieha sq1, and we've already worked on this previously by replacing the screen, which I have disconnected right now. So the screen works. I've tested it on my Elegoo just to verify that it does work. The problem is the LCD controller board had some issues with it, and it just didn't seem to work anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the old LCD driver board and put in a brand new one to replace it. I'm not exactly sure if these are universal or not, but they pretty much seem to be, because at least with this unit, this uses a Raspberry Pi, so it utilizes the HDMI. So in theory, at least for this unit, it should be universal. So any driver that you get, as long as it has an HDMI input into it, you can go ahead and use it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we have 4 screws here, 2 on each ends, or I'm sorry, 1 on each and every corner. So we already removed those. Alright, once we're inside of here, we're going to disconnect the stepper motor, which we have already done. And we're going to set this aside. You can disconnect the sensor as well. That's completely up to you, and just completely disconnect the entire unit. You don't necessarily have to do that, but if it makes you feel safer and you just want to work on the box itself, you can go ahead and do that. So inside here you have your controller board and the extension for the LCD to do the conversion. I believe it's called MIPI or MAPI connectors, MIPI. So that's what these convert to from HDMI. So all we're going to do is remove the one screw that's holding this in place, which we have already done, and then we're just going to unplug it. Now on this board there was a connector, a JST connector soldered onto this this point and this point right here. We have already disconnected that and resoldered everything onto the new board. But what we are going to be needing is the HDMI to HDMI male, I believe this is. So this board is no longer being used. We will test that in future reference to see if maybe we can get it back up and running and see what the issue is. But here is the new one. So this is the new upgraded model. As you can see, it is quite different compared to the older model in size. So they both act the same, they both do the same stuff. And as, like I said, we did solder on the JST connector. I hacked up a micro USB cable and just soldered directly into it. And all we have to do is add our HDMI port, plug that directly into the Pi. And we'll button that up once we get a chance to. And this we're going to go ahead and plug into its respected area. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Then all we have to do is hook up our LCD to this and get it all up and running. So let's go ahead and test everything and make sure that it's working. We'll slot our LCD in through here and make sure everything is working the way that it's supposed to. Alright, so now the tricky part is trying to connect this to this, but thankfully this one seems a little bit longer. So we're going to go ahead and press that onto there. And trying to get this lined up is kind of a pain at times. But if you get it right, you can get it in there. Aha, we got it. Okay, so we're going to reconnect our stepper motor driver. And that's it. We'll button everything up once we're all done. Always do that last. We'll go ahead and put some power into it. turn it on and make sure that it's running the way that it needs to. So if it runs correctly, there should be a grid on this screen. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights here, so that way we can see a little bit better if there is an actual grid on here. And once it boots up, we'll get it all set up and ready to go. Okay. So we're going to go into settings, we're going to go to exposure, and we're going to go to the grid. And there we have it. We have our grid on there. So if you guys can't see it, there is the grid. We're going to turn it off. Okay? And then turn it back on. So it should be solid, and then it should go to a grid. So that's the correct way to do it. So that means that our LCD is working 100% the way that we need to. So now this printer can be back up and running, and we can get some prints off of it, so we can do a comparison video of all the other printers that I have. So stay tuned for those. There's quite a lot of videos coming out for those. I have a huge long laundry list of things that need to be done for the resin printer sides. So don't hesitate to subscribe and like the video if you guys do like the video. If not, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. It's not really a big thing for me. So but yeah, if you guys like it, go ahead and share it out to your friends. Let everybody know. I hope this gave you some little information about how to replace the screen, as well as replace the driver board on the Hieha sq1. Until then, guys, happy printing.